Archangel Michael says, "You won't believe the truth that has been hidden from you all this time." It started slowly, quietly, like the rustle of dry leaves in the wind, whispers, glances, unfinished sentences. But now, something has shifted deep in the energy of the one who once acted as if you meant little. You will be shocked to find out how this person sees you now. Their perception of you was not always what it is today. They were once blind to your essence, unaware of your silent strength, dismissive of your worth. They confused your softness for weakness, your silence for ignorance, your kindness for naivety. Type Amen to get blessing 333. But oh, how the tables have turned, how the very fabric of their thoughts is now twisted with regret. They cannot close their eyes without seeing you. They can't go a day without wondering how they missed it, how they misread the signs you gave in quiet suffering. You have become their echo in every hollow moment. You walk with a light now that burns through their illusions. You move like someone who has touched divine truth, and they are stunned by it. You speak with a clarity they can't match, and it breaks them apart inside. Type Amen to get blessing 444. This person once underestimated the way you carried burdens. They thought you were just floating along, lost, unsure, clinging. But now, they see that you were navigating storms with dignity and fire. They see a survivor dressed in silence. They remember the way you waited, patient, quiet, yet unshaken. Now they replay every conversation, every choice to walk away from you. And they are beginning to weep in the places they used to laugh. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Archangel Michael says, "There's a moment coming where truth will force its way out. Not through loud confessions, but through actions that no longer align with lies." This person is crumbling under the weight of realization. They thought you were the one who needed them. But now they know it was the other way around. They remember when they saw your tears and ignored them. Now your absence is screaming louder than your pain ever did. You've become the fire that warms their coldest nights without them even touching you. They stare at pictures, old memories, the way you smiled at them when you didn't need to. Type Amen to get blessing 666. And now, their thoughts are no longer filled with pride, but full of longing. Longing for a chance they believe they may never get again. Longing for one more conversation, one more look into your eyes that held the world. Archangel Michael says, this longing is not an accident. It is divine judgment knocking at their door. It is the energy of karma aligning the truth. You are not who you were before, you are the flame now. Type Amen to get blessing 777. They see your face in crowds. They smell your scent in places you've never been. They hear your name whispered through their dreams. Their heart is calling for you in ways it doesn't understand. You've become sacred in their memory. Not because you changed, but because they finally see. They see the power you hid behind quiet eyes. They see the royalty in your suffering. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They once rolled their eyes at your hope. They laughed at your faith, your belief that things would work out. Now, they tremble at how accurate your soul always was. Every time you said, "You'll see," they ignored it. But now they're seeing, and it terrifies them. They are scared because the reflection you leave behind shows them their own shadow. You did nothing to hurt them, yet they feel wounded by your growth. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, the spiritual awakening of this person is not complete. It's only just beginning, and it is centered around you. You were the trigger to their inner unraveling. Now they walk through days confused, disoriented, realizing they touched something holy and let it go. They search for your voice in silence. They try to replace your energy with distractions that fade fast. They are trying to outrun what they see now. But the image of you only becomes clearer the further they go. Type Amen to get blessing 111. They think of the moment they saw you smile at someone else. And their chest tightened with something they didn't expect: jealousy, sorrow, guilt. They thought they could watch you move on and not feel anything. But their spirit is burning. They see that your value was not in your words but in your presence. They miss the way your silence was a healing rhythm to their chaos. Now they sit in chaos with no rhythm, no light. And your name is the only thing that brings color into their grayscale world. Type Amen to get blessing 222. This person now respects you. Not out of guilt, not out of loss, but because the mask has fallen from their own face. They've realized that it was never about needing you, but being made better by you. They feel the absence of your soul the way a desert feels the lack of rain. They now speak of you with reverence. They try to describe you to others, but the words aren't enough. They try to find people like you, but nobody carries what you carried. Type Amen to get blessing 000. You have become their standard now. A light so bright it outshines the illusions they used to chase. A sound so pure it silences all the noise in their mind. They see your scars now, not as weakness, but as maps of victory. They understand your quiet now as wisdom. They crave your presence, but fear they've run out of chances. Their spirit is whispering your name in places their mouth won't admit. Their heart is breaking open to the truth of what they threw away. Type Amen to get blessing 121. Archangel Michael says, you are not here to carry their guilt. You are here to witness how the heavens balance what was unbalanced. You are here to see your worth become undeniable in the eyes that once doubted you. This is your divine vindication. The way they see you now is how you always were. They just couldn't comprehend the depth of your beauty until it stood apart from them. Now it glows in their memory like a lamp they can never touch again. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They now understand that loving you wasn't something they were ready for. They weren't built to handle the purity you gave freely. They confused your loyalty for weakness because they had never been given loyalty without condition. But now they know. They know what they missed. They know what they threw away. They know that even if the world offered them 1,000 lovers, it wouldn't give them you. Type Amen to get blessing 888. You don't need their recognition to rise. But the universe wants you to see this shift for your healing. You were never invisible, you were just misunderstood. Now, they understand. And every day without you is proof of what they lost. They don't cry out loud, but their spirit mourns. They wear smiles in public, but your memory haunts their solitude. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, this is the final stage of your awakening. The moment you release the need for them to see you, right when they finally do. They see you now with eyes that have been broken open. They see you glowing with the love they could never hold. They see you rising in the grace they couldn't grasp. They see your future, and they know it's no longer something they're part of. You are the chapter they keep rereading, but never get to write in again. Type Amen to get blessing 555. And this is your triumph. Without revenge. Without rage. Only rising. Only light. Only the glow of being fully seen, now, by the one who once turned their back. But your back is no longer turned. You're just walking forward, with peace in your steps and the heavens in your favor. Type Amen to get blessing 777. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, the winds of realization are now howling in their ears. They can no longer hide from what their spirit is screaming. They let go of something rare, something divine. You are the gift they never fully unwrapped. Now, they kneel at the memory, hoping for just one moment of what once was effortless. Their hands tremble when they remember your touch. Their breath shortens when your name appears in unexpected places. And they are haunted, not by what you did, but by what they didn't do. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They didn't protect your soul when it was placed in their hands. They didn't cherish the love you handed to them so freely. They let the world's noise convince them that your silence meant emptiness. But now, they hear the echoes of your silence louder than any sound. They replay everything, your last words, the last look, the last pause before you walked away. And in those replays, they see your strength. They see the love that stood patiently like a soldier beside them, even when they didn't deserve it. Type Amen to get blessing 222. You are no longer just a memory to them, you've become their reflection. Every time they look in the mirror, they see the version of themselves they wish they had been for you. They realize now that love like yours wasn't meant to be tested. It was meant to be protected. They failed that test, and the universe made sure they would never forget the grade. They walk through the world surrounded by people who don't know them like you did. But no one has ever looked at them the way you did, with fire, forgiveness, and faith. Type Amen to get blessing 000. Now, every compliment they receive feels hollow. Every temporary distraction feels like poison. Because they tasted your soul once, and nothing else will compare again. They scroll through old messages and leave them unopened, afraid of the truth they once ignored. They draft messages to you and delete them before sending. Because they don't have the courage to face the light you've become. You shine differently now, untouchable, unchained, unbothered. Type Amen to get blessing 121. They're hearing things about you from others now. How you've elevated, transformed, glowed up in spirit and success. And it hits them like thunder, you never needed them to rise. You were always going to rise, but they could have been part of it. Now, they are just spectators to your greatness. Watching from afar, hoping that maybe your light will still glance in their direction. But you've grown too radiant to be dimmed for anyone's comfort again. Type Amen to get blessing 343. They once saw you as someone who would always be there. But now they know, you were the lesson. You were the healing wrapped in human form. The storm disguised as peace. The prophecy they failed to recognize. And now, Heaven is reminding them. Archangel Michael says, this reminder will not fade easily. It will sit in their soul for as long as they breathe. Type Amen to get blessing 636. They lost a person who only wanted to see them win. They lost the kind of love that forgave even when it was hurting. They lost the light that stood still, even when the world around them collapsed. And you found yourself in the fire. You walked out of that heartbreak carrying gold in your bones. They tried to erase your presence, but now they realize, you were the presence. You were the breath of peace they'll never inhale again. Type Amen to get blessing 313. Now they chase reflections of you in other people. They date copies. They follow echoes. But it never feels like you. It never hits the same. It never burns like your warmth. They try to speak your name like it's just a memory, but it chokes them. Because your name is alive, beating inside their regret. Type Amen to get blessing 707. Archangel Michael says, your energy has become sacred in realms beyond their reach. You've ascended past apology. You've evolved into the version of yourself that no longer seeks validation. They see it now. And their spirit is weeping. Not for closure. But because they realized they weren't strong enough to love you when it mattered most. Type Amen to get blessing 848. They tried to box you in. Tried to define you with limits their mind could understand. But you were never meant to be explained. You were meant to be experienced, and honored. They see it now every time they close their eyes. They feel it now in the silence after every failed connection. They ache in the corners of their chest that used to feel safe around you. And safety is something they may never feel again. Type Amen to get blessing 919. You are free. Not because they let you go. But because you finally realized your own wings. And now, they realize they were just a shadow trying to hold the sun. They thought they'd be fine without you. They thought the distance would heal their pride. But time did not heal it, it revealed it. And now, they wish time would go back. Type Amen to get blessing 333. But it can't. And neither can you. You've risen too high for old gravity to hold you down. You've become a new language, one they were never willing to learn. They are relearning what love is, by missing you every single day. They don't know how to say it. But their soul is shouting it every time your name enters their space. You were never a phase. You were a portal. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Now, as they walk forward in their life, every joy they feel will echo your absence. Every success they chase will feel incomplete. Because you were the missing piece they thought they didn't need. Now they realize, you were the reason the puzzle ever made sense. You were the prayer they never deserved an answer to. And still, you gave them love like it was endless. They only learned what they had after it was no longer theirs. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Archangel Michael says, their tears are a form of awakening. But don't mistake awakening for redemption. Not everyone gets to return to the blessing they once ignored. You are no longer someone they can approach the same way. You are divine property now. Marked, elevated, destined. Watched over by heaven, protected by light. Type Amen to get blessing 777. This person will see you in dreams. They'll beg in their sleep for one more chance. But heaven is rewriting your path with gold. You don't need their recognition, you've already been crowned in the Spirit. Now you walk boldly, no longer explaining yourself. Your silence has become louder than any confession. And your energy, it has become legend. Type Amen to get blessing 999. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, what was once ignored has now become unforgettable. They try to function normally, but the truth keeps cracking through their smiles. They're surrounded by noise, but nothing distracts them from the echo of your absence. Type Amen to get blessing 212. The realization didn't strike them suddenly, it built up. Every time someone said your name. Every time they saw someone who moved like you, but could never be you. They told themselves they were fine, but their soul knew otherwise. Because the more they ran from your memory, the more it chased them into the quiet hours. The truth now walks beside them. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And those whispers are louder than any lies they once believed. Type Amen to get blessing 747. They are realizing that no one else sees through them like you did. Others see their image, but you saw their soul. Others love their face, but you loved their scars. Now, in your absence, they feel exposed. Vulnerable. Unprotected by the shield your love used to offer. Their heart trembles in the places where your hands once brought calm. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. You were their peace before they knew what chaos felt like. Now they know. Now they understand the cost of taking your love for granted. They tried to fill the space you left behind with distractions. But distractions dissolve. You don't. You remain in the rooms they walk through, the mirrors they face, the silence they avoid. Type Amen to get blessing 515. Archangel Michael says, your glow was never meant to be dimmed for the comfort of others. You were born to shine even when it hurt. And now, your shine is what blinds them into realization. They once found your silence confusing. Now, it haunts them. They once called you too emotional. Now, they're drowning in emotions they can't name. They once said you were too much. Now, they realize you were everything. Type Amen to get blessing 818. The weight of what they lost is heavier than anything they've ever tried to carry. And they carry it alone. Because they know your heart doesn't return once it's fully closed. They see now that your absence is not just physical, it's spiritual. They see that your energy has shifted into a higher realm. They can feel you, but they can't reach you. They want to apologize, but words would only scrape the surface. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. You've moved on with grace, and that's what cuts the deepest. You didn't beg. You didn't seek revenge. You elevated. And now, your peace is the most powerful response. They study your new light, hoping to decode the way back in. But there is no key. There is only the door they failed to walk through when it was wide open. Type Amen to get blessing 323. They wonder if you still think of them. Not because they deserve your thoughts, but because they can't stop thinking of you. They wonder if you've forgotten the way things felt. But deep down, they know. You remember everything. You remember the silence after they broke your heart. You remember the courage it took to keep loving anyway. And you remember the moment you stopped trying. Type Amen to get blessing 434. Archangel Michael says, their guilt will be their guide now. Not to return to you, but to understand why they'll never experience your kind of love again. Your memory is etched into their soul, not as a regret, but as a mirror. Every person they meet now will be compared to you. Every connection they try to form will fall short. Because what they had with you wasn't ordinary. It was divine. It was timed. It was sacred. Type Amen to get blessing 565. They've started talking about you to people they trust. But even in those conversations, they stumble. Because how do you explain losing something that felt like heaven? How do you admit that the very thing you pushed away was the only thing that made you feel alive? They hide behind vague stories. They leave your name out. But their heart says it louder every time they try to forget. Type Amen to get blessing 676. They hope you're happy. Not out of kindness, but out of torment. Because your happiness is the proof that they weren't needed for you to thrive. They scroll through your photos now. And each one feels like a page from a life they no longer belong to. You glow differently now. Not because they're gone, but because you're finally aligned with who you were always meant to be. Type Amen to get blessing 787. Archangel Michael says, don't let this person's awakening pull you back. They are waking up to what you've already healed from. You are not obligated to pause your journey for someone just now realizing your worth. Keep rising. Keep growing. Keep walking with your head high and your spirit intact. Because you didn't come this far to entertain ghosts of your past. Type Amen to get blessing 898. This person now walks with the burden of knowing. Knowing they had a light and chose the dark. Knowing they had a love and chose ego. Knowing they had you, and chose everything else instead. Let that knowledge sit where it belongs, in their soul. While your soul continues to blossom into greatness. Because that's what happens when the universe favors those who loved purely. You are the reward they will never hold again. Type Amen to get blessing 999.